Now Trump cannot even speak out in his own defense. He can't defend himself against political attacks stemming from the indictments. Of course, these conveniently handed down in the middle of an election.
I have a question for you, Sean. After years of flirting and giggling and folding Trump's dirty laundry, does it hurt when you sit down?
A gag order from Judge Merchan here in New York City. What's this regarding?
So the DA's office had asked Judge Merchan to place a gag order on former President Trump with respect to his extrajudicial statements. That's a fancy way of saying anything he says outside of the courtroom. They asked for 3 categories of prohibitions. They asked for prohibitions on what he said about known or potential witnesses. They asked for prohibitions on what he could say about any counsel in the case other than Alvin Bragg himself, the elected district attorney, and any court staff, as well as any family members of those people that are made with the intent to or with the realization that they would interfere with the administration of justice.
Words mean something, and not all speech is protected. The gag order on Trump isn't political retribution or election interference or violating any of Cocklewoff's constitutional rights.
I thought we lived in the United States of America. I thought we celebrated freedom of speech. Is this still America? Because I'm beginning to wonder.
Trump has tapped into an army of right-wing, white supremacist red state hillbillies who listen to every word he says, as we saw on January the 6th. Tiny Fingers gleefully watched these images on that day, even after 1,000 of these soon-to-be heart attack warriors went to jail.
See the spirit from the hostages, and that's what they are, is hostages.
Trump now calls them hostages and promises even more violence.
If I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole... That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country.
But here's what baffles me about Hannity and his bizarre adoration of this dangerous clown. What dollar bill convinced you to sell your soul, Sean? Or maybe it was something deeper. Were you that insecure you needed a legion of GEDs heaping praise upon you like a bag of fertilizer?
Is this still America? Because I'm beginning to wonder. Far-left courts in this country are out of control. They're doing this more and more, silencing people and threatening people that they'll send them to jail if they dare speak out in their own defense.
There's an old saying, you can yell theater in a crowded fire, but not fire in a crowded theater. Point is, your language has repercussions. Trump grew up in New York City in the world of mafia talk, the world where you always assume someone is wearing a wire, a world where you would never say kill that guy, but instead, the thing we talked about, it needs to be done. He could be talking about an oil change, but you know he's not. On January 6th, Trump interspersed his speech with incendiary comments like,
"They're not taking this White House. We're going to fight like hell, I'll tell you right now." Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
Let's have trial by combat.
And then said, be peaceful, but that's not what he meant. How do I know? Did you listen to the January 6th committee? Everyone from Cassidy Hutchinson to Pence himself knew the message Trump was sending. And who better to interpret Trump's intent than the man who stood by his side for years?
If anyone knows how Donald Trump speaks in code, it's me. So let me break it down for you for what Donald was really saying and what it conveyed to Mike Pence. Now, during the January 6th committee hearing, we heard that before the January 6th insurrection, Donald Trump told Mike Pence that he would not be his friend anymore if Pence did not help him overthrow the election results.
The president said, quote, "If these people say you have the power, wouldn't you want to?" The vice president says, quote, "I wouldn't want any one person to have that authority."
Now, we've seen the clips of Trump speaking at rallies, including the one in Georgia leading up to the January 6th, saying things like, I'm not going to like Mike Pence very much if he doesn't reject the electors sent to Congress.
And I hope Mike Pence comes through for us, I have to tell you.
On January 6th, preceding the insurrection, Trump called out Pence's name multiple times.
That President Trump said I had the right to overturn the election. President Trump is wrong.
I hear the Pence just caved.
No.
Is that true?
I didn't
I'm hearing reports that Pence caved.
Bring it on! Bring it on!
Sean Hannity's defense of Trump and his violent missives is more than pathetic, however, as Sean's show reaches millions of Americans who only listen to him. Why do they only listen to him? Well, let's get back to words. Despite what your clergy might say, truth is nuanced. When Hannity says Biden is corrupt and that Hunter was funneling millions of dollars to him, all Hannity's audience here is Hunter Biden, a tragically flawed man who hurt no one other than himself. And the Fox audience makes the incorrect connection that Hunter's shortcomings are his father's. But the truth, which unfolded over a few weeks during the Republican impeachment fiasco, revealed the truth Hannity was peddling was in fact Russian disinformation intended to harm the president. And you think that Thumbface told his audience that? Trump has threatened physical violence many times, but as you might expect, Trump's Kentucky Fried oversized spray tan fat farm is not a threat to anyone over 6 months old. The dude could stroke out opening a jar of mayonnaise. But when Trump does this,
a New York State judge just ruled, and he's crooked as you could get.
When Trump employs dangerous language and aims it at public servants, his rally monkeys get all worked up, and you get the insanity like the Trump supporter who showed up at a D.C. pizza parlor with a gun looking for Hillary and the Democrats drinking children's blood. My point is, dude knows what he's doing.
I built a great company, but I don't want to have a crooked judge named Engoron and a crooked, horrible, the worst, I would say without question, Attorney General in the country, the most obnoxious and the worst Attorney General in the whole country.
Trump has already disobeyed 2 gag orders with no repercussions. And that's because after the 250-year-old Republican Party invited him under the tent, American media tucked back their junk and pretended everything was normal, but it ain't. Trump knows what he can and cannot say, and even push those boundaries, because people like Hannity will again tell his audience what they need to know to keep tuning in. Hannity and Fox have created this fake conspiracy that they're the only protectors of truth, even after a $2 billion settlement for lying about Smartmatic voting machines. The truth is, Trump would have never happened without Fox, and vice versa. And while Trump criticizes them when they accidentally tell the truth, he's still their golden boy, or more orange. Well, what's next? Guess. Despite the gag order, Trump is at it again, tweeting out that the judge is deranged and that he is illegal, un-American, and Biden and Garland are hacks and thugs.
I thought we lived in the United States of America.
So, will Fox and Hannity cover this fairly? There's a better chance of Eric Trump finishing a game of Wordle, which is to say, no. But consider this. Trump is facing a civil fine in the hundreds of millions and 91 indictments that could land him in jail for the rest of his miserable life. And federal judges are daring him to violate their gag orders, and that's exactly what he does. He's broke and powerless, but he knows that Hannity and Fox will continue to support him because, as I said before, to Fox, Trump is money. Maybe Trump's blasé attitude to being gagged comes from experience. Hey, don't look at me. I'm not going to pee on him. How about you, Sean? That's going to hurt.
Donald Trump may have authored the art of the deal, but he perfected the art of the steal.
You can't let that happen to me.
Time to pack it up.
Who's with me?
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Am I wrong?
Damn right.
Yes. Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
Follow, like, and hit notifications as Really American keeps you up to date on the latest Republican cult lie in this very important year. For Really American, I'm Chip Franklin.